My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like times like these that make you say, Lord, if the city just come my way, like people running from trouble when I stray. I'm sacrificing the price, like living like a phoenix. Sometimes I fall, I slip. Yeah, I'm walking from the side, be more like you. Yeah, I got to put
You know that had to be a Monday for that guy. That was definitely a Monday.
Holy shit, I wasn't late. I'm fucking hair on my chinny chin chin on that one.
Yeah, we're running a little late today on the show here. So I wanted to share with you guys this morning this little video I found. Maybe. Hold on, damn it.
Do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your hot pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
Oh, I love it when they push back. It's so great to see people be able to push back.
Dated reference, but I follow.
I don't, yeah,
a little dated.
Dated, but I mean, give the guy a break. He's a boomer.
Yeah.
You know, at least he's pushing back.
The hot pockets may still apply. I don't know. It could be Dino Nuggies now though. You know, see.
Did your mama make sure you had 6 AAAs in your Sega Game Gear?
Did your mother make sure your Atari control dial is properly lubricated? Get smooth call action.
That could be a double entendre.
Yeah. Could definitely be one. What's up, gentlemen? How was your weekend?
I was soaking up the sun, watching cars turn left. So
he's making another left.
Any first or last?
And they're turning left.
You know, I'm not a big fan of the. I mean, he's okay. It's just he's like beyond played out because they play him a lot. But the Jeff Dunham, the puppet guy, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's like okay. The first time I saw his stuff, like it was funny, but then it seems like every holiday, Comedy Central just plays like Jeff Dunham on repeat. You know, I don't know what the deal is, but anyhow, it is the one guy Peanut, and he was making fun of NASCAR. He's like, they're turning left. Oh my god, they're making another left.
Sounds like Bobby from King of the Hill.
A little bit, kind of looks like it.
Well, you got a career if the person that does Bobby's voice ever goes away.
I should know who does Bobby's voice, but I don't.
It's that chick from Californication.
Remember that TV show? By that, it's got to be a woman if it's a young man cartoon voice.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is it's like young boy is always like young boy in the show. It always has to be some woman because they can't find like a good young guy voice actor or whatever that can do it.
Yeah, well especially
they age out quicker.
After you hit puberty, it's like yeah.
There are some men who do it. Obviously, notably Morty. Rick and Morty. That's both the same dude. Which is crazy that he just goes like back and forth like that,
Yeah, that's insane.
Conversation.
Sucks that they still haven't brought him. Did they ever bring him back or no?
No, they replaced him.
Yeah, they got 2 different guys to do the voices of Rick and Morty now, which I mean, you really can't tell a difference. The ones who are doing the voices now do a really good job of.
Yeah, for the most part.
But the writing, I think, is sucks way worse. Like.
And then Solar Opposites, they just completely didn't even try with one of the characters. They're just like, all right, now he's going to have a British accent. And they gave like a canonical explanation of why now he has a British accent and why it also. They showed it with some voice ray gun. Yeah, it was some canonical explanation for why now he has a British accent. It was hilarious and also kind of made sense.
Right, man. As long as you can make it make sense.
See, that's better than just like a lot of the shows that just to continue on acting like pretend it never happens. Like just like you can notably tell a difference in the voice. If there's any distinction or difference at all, they should definitely have some sort of canonical reason of how the voice changes. Like, oh, this is 5 years into the future, so yeah, of course, he's gonna sound older or whatever, something like that.
I'm still excited for the new King of the Hill.
When does that come out?
I just hope it doesn't suck. Like that's my big
Yeah.
fear is that it's gonna suck. Like Futurama was incredible, and then they brought it back, and it's like, is Hulu gonna fuck this up? And it was okay. Like it wasn't great. It wasn't. But it was acceptable.
Passable.
Right.
Yeah,
it was decent Futurama. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It's like, so that's my fear with King of the Hill is like, are they gonna fuck this up? Like, I'm just really worried they're gonna fuck it up.
I just could never get into Futurama.
Yeah, the biggest red flags to me is on the King of the Hill thing is that they're saying they're trying to relate to like a modern audience or something like that.
That's not the point.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be gay.
Nobody cares about the modern audience. The modern audience are a bunch of morons. Nobody should try to appeal to them. Appeal to your target audience.
Yeah, bringing back an old show. Like, I mean, we're supposed to be the target audience here. You know,
Yeah.
We're supposed to be like, yeah, I can't wait. But oh well.
What there have been some other shows that they've done that where they've rebooted them and they've tried to like make them more appealing to a modern audience, and then they end up flopping. It's like that's the problem. You think that the modern audience gives a shit? They don't care. The modern audience watches dumbasses play Minecraft on fucking YouTube. They don't want to watch this stuff. The audience that you need to be crafting this show for is us. It's us, the five of us on this show. We are your target audience. If you can make something we like, then it's going to do well. We should be the test group. Just bring us in, show us the pilot and a couple test episodes.
Shit.
And if we tell you it's good, then you should roll with it. And if we tell you it sucks, then you need to scrap it and go back.
And if the big thing is like the kids today or the younger people, whatever, millennials, they watch 30-second videos. They don't actually watch full shows. Zoomers,
Yes.
whatever they are.
Yes,
I don't know.
it's the kids that are wrong.
No, they watch all they watch is 30-second videos. They don't actually like watch TV programs anymore.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to appeal to that audience, like your premise from starting out is completely wrong.
Yeah.
Yep, kids today. Am I right?
Damn kids.
Dude, I do get like super ADD though these days where it's like I'll have something on TV. I'll be dicking around on my phone and like I'll be like reading something or whatever. Like I'll be doing like you know, like I don't know if there's something like okay, like I'm rewatching The League, for instance, and like I like it and I want to sort of pay attention. So I'm like actively like trying to not like be scrolling through Instagram while I'm watching it. But it's like I get a 30-second commercial comes on. I'm like, oh, grab that phone. I need something to fill this 30 seconds.
Yeah. I know it's amazing.
I mean, I surely don't want to watch a commercial. Like, fuck them. Like, I'm not like, it's not like I don't feel like they're like, oh man, like what, I can't even go whatever without, you know, some sort of entertainment. Like it's kind of the case, but it's also like when a commercial comes on, a lot of times I'll just look away from the TV and like look at the wall.
Well, I mean,
thank God we don't live in that Black Mirror world yet where that stops the video when you're not looking at the screen. But like, I'm just like, I'm not going to give them the satisfaction, and I'll just sort of turn away and not stare at the TV.
It's like the advertisements now, like they're so invasive now that everything kind of like everywhere you're looking is advertisement. So yeah, I mean like anywhere that's going to have an ad, like yeah, I want to skip the ad, I want to get around the ad, I want to do something else instead of watching an ad. Like yeah, but like you said, if we get to the Black Mirror kind of universe where now it's going to make me watch the ad because they have to get their advertiser money, like that's going to be the death of like the modern technology at all.
That's when I go full Uncle Ted.
Yeah, like they talk about it, and like I've seen like there's like patents and stuff for that kind of technology, you know.
Well, they already do it in
but-
like video games, like that. Like there was huge backlash on it, so they kind of like reverted it for temporarily. But I'm sure they'll bring it back soon enough. But
Yeah, I
it's
know
like,
EA was really bad for that for a bit.
What were they
Well,
doing?
like you'd be playing NBA 2K, so like you're playing a basketball game. All of a sudden, you finish up the game that you were playing in. Okay, my guy just scored 30 points. Okay, I want to see my stats. And instead of showing your stats, it's like, okay, here's an ad. Now
Ugh.
buy the new Nikes. Like it's like, so by the way, buy the new Nikes. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, here's a stat
Wow,
sheet brought to you by McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the thing where like if you look away, then it stops. They do kind of have that. There are some phones that have like a reader view where it follows your eyes and the page scrolls automatically as you read. Like,
Yeah, that trips me out.
I wouldn't be upset about that. I have like what do we have, iPhone 12s? I don't know. I got something old. Like I'm not all about updating my technology, but like I wouldn't be upset about something like that, because I do read a lot on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like if they all of a sudden they start blasting ads into like in between where you're reading, like, oh, by the way, what you're reading, you're reading about I don't know, like a whatever terrorist attack in France or something like that, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, buy French bread or something like that. It's like, no, that's too much. Like that's where it gets overkill. It's like,
I do have an appreciation for targeted ads though, because like Dag was talking about watching watching the league, or like I watch, I have Hulu and I don't pay for the no ads on Hulu because I don't really care that much. But like the ads that I get are just some of the most random dumb shit. I get a lot of ads for like tampons and stuff. It's like, no, we don't, like, nobody in our house needs that. Stephanie's had her like insides blasted out, and obviously I don't need a tampon. It's like I miss
All right,
the
way to go,
targeted ads.
Justin.
Like, give me some give me some ads for Butcher's Box and like cool stuff that I actually want. Dumb shit that I don't need.
Yeah, that's like we been watching a lot of Tubi, and it'll be the same ad
Black
for
Netflix. I like Tubi.
Yeah, it'll be the same ad like 10 times in a row, and sometimes they actually play it 2 or 3 times in a row.
oh yeah.
But for the entire show, it's the exact same ad. I'm like, stop! Like, come on,
Just give me something. Give me a different ad. Oh shit! Yeah, man.
just annoying as hell, man.
What are you gonna do? So, Steve, you had a second birthday. That's odd.
Yeah, I turned 102.
Dude, it comes up on my Facebook, and I'm like, I swear, Steve just had a birthday. I'm like, am I wrong? And then like the day got away from me, and I forgot to wish you a happy birthday because Facebook told me to. And then it was like the next day, and I was like, fuck, now I feel like a real dick. And then you were like, oh, by the way, guys, it's not my birthday. And I was like, oh, okay, I can just play it off like I knew. I'm that good of a friend that I knew not to fall for that. I know when Steve's birthday is. It's not today.
I don't get why. I must have like just threw a couple things in there because it was bugging me. So I just did that just for the hell of it.
Damn, Steve's really looking for attention. He's just
He really
changing his
wants
birthday
people
to.
I love the fact that I love the fact that some people caught it and some people didn't. That said I was 102 years old.
I didn't notice that part.
You look damn fine for that age.
I know, don't I?
I definitely didn't hack your Facebook and change your age just to fuck with you minutely.
That'd be hilarious, man.
It's I'm a very small like prankster kind of person. It's little incremental things you might not notice. Did you notice your shower head was on the pulse setting this morning? Yeah, that was me.
Well, there was some show where they did it. They did bits like that. It was hilarious.
Isn't that like where the term gaslighting came from? Basically, like little shit like that. Where like, what I'm talking about?
Yeah, supposedly it was an old movie that the term comes from, but who knows? There were way too many articles written about the term gaslighting, which nobody ever heard of until 2017.
Yeah, now my kid
And
uses
then-
it every time you correct him. You're gaslighting.
Yeah.
Shut up, dude. Shut up.
You're not even using that right.
I know. Like everything is gaslighting. It's so annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Dixie Chicks came out with a song called "Gaslighter." It's like, or I'm sorry, the Chicks now. It's like, gay.
I remember when
It's probably about the general patriarchy.
I remember when that whole thing happened with them, and like I remember Rush Limbaugh just going off about them all the time. It was hilarious.
I told you guys, I came full circle. Like I'm on Toby Keith's side.
Toby Keith. What?
No, there's like a
No
whole
idea what
deal
that
back
means.
then. With
Yeah,
9/11,
yeah.
Toby Keith and everything. Then
I
Yeah,
don't remember the Toby Keith thing. I mean,
yeah, well, yeah. You're a youngin. Well, yeah, like 9/11, and they came out against like the Iraq War, basically, or something to that effect. I don't know. Maybe it was the one of the other wars, but they came out against like the Iraq War when it wasn't cool to do so.
and that was when
And
Toby
like
Keith was doing all his rah rah, let's kick some ass America songs.
yeah, light up your ass like the 4th of July. And of course, now looking at, oh yeah, it's not really the way it went down, But yet, due to this day, they don't play the Chicks now. Now I hate them for being. Back then, everybody else hated them for being woke, and I was like, right on. And like now, I like hate them for being like woke because of that, because of the Chicks thing. But yeah, they still don't play them on the radio. At least not that I've heard. Ever since then, I was at a bar the other day, and that Toby Keith song came on like 3 times, not quite in a row, but
I'm not gonna lie, when
pretty
you have
close.
a couple cold ones in you, that thing hits just the right way sometimes. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. It sucks. Now, now I will say, I ain't as good as I once was. That one, as much when it comes on, I go fucking Toby Keith, but I still. Well, especially after seeing the video recently, it's funny because when he like pops the Viagra when the chicks are like hitting on him, he's you see him like discreetly pop a Viagra before he goes off with them. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
That's good when you can make fun of yourself. That's fun.
It's a song about getting old. Yeah,
him and Rodney Carrington had a bunch of good music videos around that time.
Yeah, I buy that. I haven't seen many Rodney Carrington videos. I remember when Bill Ingeville, blue collar guys, they all had their music videos. Here's your sign and such. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, oh man, you have to watch the video to go along with the song. But one of Rodney Carrington's songs, like, so he's got like all these different colored kids, him and his wife, and like the whole song, you think he's like suspecting his wife is cheating on him. And then at the end of the video, you find out, oh, they just adopted kids. So it's kind of a funny song because if you Carrington and his like style of humor.
Oh yeah.
This is also the same guy that sings the song "Titties and Beer."
Yes.
Don't look now, your mama's got her boobs out, showing them all over the town.
Oh, I gotta find this song. Sounds great.
I'm pretty sure that was Rodney Carrington. I think.
I don't listen to. I mean, the only country I listen to is Johnny Cash and a little bit of Hank Williams Sr.
That's literally like the guys will start blasting that in the locker room sometimes. Like, titties and beer.
Hunting 2-legged deer. Thank God I ain't queer.
I was at a tiki bar a couple weeks ago when I was coming back from Fort Myers, and usually it's Jimmy Buffett and shit, you know what I mean? And it was fucking jock jams, dude. The whole time I was there, I don't know if somebody just like hijacked the jukebox or what, but I wasn't mad at it, but it was fucking jock jams the whole time. It was crazy.
Are y'all ready for this?
I'm okay with
That
that.
was always a fun song. Like when I was younger, and we would put that on in the gym, like for PE. Like that was fun. That was fun. But like now, if I hear it, I'm like, oh god. Like,
Yeah, when I was in school, it was Final Countdown.
we did that. Like my teacher was like she was a little like my PE teacher. She was a little bit older, so she would play like all kinds of stuff like classic rock and stuff.
But I went to a Christian school, so that was the only song that was allowed to be played was Final Countdown.
It's the final countdown.
That was a Christian song?
No, it's not, but they made exceptions for that one.
That used to be my ringtone. I love that song.
Oh,
Only
God.
song-
How much money do? how
Only
much
song I
money
know
would-
Europe
did we-
plays.
How much money did we spend on ringtones?
Oh god.
Now my phone hasn't made a sound, and like if my phone makes a noise at all ever, I'm like throwing the thing. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
No.
That's why your wife's suspicious.
Like, no. No, she would be suspicious if he had to like grab it. Him throwing it might just mean.
See, I spent the weekend. Anytime I was like playing my game and she was walking around, I just kept playing. And she's like, "You play a game too much." I'm like, "This is why I hide my phone."
Well, it's like when I got my Xbox years ago, my wife was like, "Why are you always playing on it?" I'm like, "I bought it to play on it." Like, it's a trick question.
Yeah, they don't enjoy that. Even when they say like, "Oh yeah, no, do your thing," but then whenever like like my wife doesn't care. Like I own and play video games, but if I do it and like she's around, then I feel like she's like upset about it.
Yeah. Well,
It's
she'd
like, "Oh,
be
you're
like,
working
my
late
wife,
tonight. Sweet, I want to play video games."
my wife would be reading a book, and I'd be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go play some Halo now," and like, "Well, you're always on that thing." I'm like, yeah, because I'm playing Halo. Like when Halo 2 came out is when I got my Xbox.
Whenever she picks up her book, just be like, "Why are you always on that thing?"
Yeah, trust me,
But
I've done that.
My wife gives me shit about like being on my phone, but then we'll be like laying in bed.
Oh my
And
god.
we'll be like laying in bed in the morning, and I'm trying to like cuddle her and be sweet and talk to her, and she just like as soon as she wakes up, she grabs her phone. Like
Yeah.
I don't touch my phone until after I've showered, put on clothes,
Yeah.
started cough. Like once I sit down at the table, then I get my phone out and I catch up on my game, and then I start reading news and stuff. And it's like I don't just like roll over and grab my phone. And
Well, I tried for a while. I was like, let's just leave the phones in the bathroom. They can charge in there. We don't need them in our room. And that lasted about 2 weeks. And then she started, yeah, as soon as she gets up, she's like on Facebook. I'm like, the world isn't ended. Just chill. Like, you don't need to be on Facebook right away. She gets so
That's how
mad at me when I say
That's
that
how I
to
know
her.
my wife woke up. I'll be out like doing chores or at work, and I'll just make ba-ding, 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 like like videos.
Yeah.
They share with me. I'm like, "Oh, she must be up."
Or when I wake up, I send you videos too. So it's like,
Yeah, I do a lot of
Steve
I
or
do a
my
lot of
wife?
video spending while I'm pooping. But, hey, man, but it's full circle because I'm drinking your coffee, and that's
yeah,
what's making
there you
me
go.
poop. And so I figure I gotta send some videos your way,
Yeah,
just so you
there
know
you
what's
go.
happening.
Yeah.
Like we're both looking at the same moon at the same time.
Oh,
Different
shit.
places.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. I got up a little early this morning. My mom's coming to visit today. She's back in country for a little while. So she's coming to visit, and so I had some cleaning up and stuff like that I was gonna do. So I let the dogs out, and I put Dennis's GPS collar on him, and I'm like, I'll keep an eye on him, make sure he stays around. And dude, we've been out like 5 minutes, and I look he's on the other side of my fence. I'm like, damn it, So I'm still not sure where he got out, but usually he's getting pretty old, or older. I shouldn't say pretty old, but he's getting older, so his outings aren't quite as long and jaunty as they usually are. And but I don't know if it's because it's morning time and not hot out. He was on a rabbit and he was gone. So he finally makes it all the way down. I can't really get out and chase him because he's either like in someone's like shed, and I'm not like gonna go rummaging through a neighbor's shed, and like get shot or something, right? So I just sort of wait him out. But he makes it all the way down to the harvesting company that's by me. Makes it all the way down to their shop, and I'm like, okay, there's people there. The important people there know me, but there's still a bunch of people hanging out who like don't speak English and shit. I roll up and trying to get Dennis, trying to get him. He's not coming to me, and then it's like embarrassing because I'm like, oh, come here, Dennis, and blah blah blah. My dog's not listening to me, and there's a bunch of like cool Mexicans like welding and shit. They're like doing real work, and I'm running around chasing my fucking dog. And plus, I'm always like afraid like I'm gonna see something I shouldn't see. You know, like there might be some sort of criminal activity going on. Anyhow, we come across this tethered dog. Fucking, it was like a Rottweiler cross with Catahoula, dude. Fucking terrifying. Woof, woof, you know? And
Yeah.
it took me a second to realize he was tethered because I thought he was going to kill my dog. And he didn't. That was cool. But I'm like, oh, God, I must be getting close to the meth lab. But ended up finally fucking getting him. He was covered in shit. Just so fucking gross. Tried to slip away from me. I grabbed him by the fucking tail. Like, I didn't even give a shit. Get over here, boy. And I'm like, all right, I made it back here at 8:29. I'm like, beautiful. I'm gonna make it in time for the show. You know, I texted you guys, be there in 2 minutes. I sent you guys a text, be there in 2 minutes. Walk into the house, and my other dog, she likes to run around in the morning, and then come in and drink a gallon of water, and then puke it back up like immediately. Because I'm sure you guys experience that with your kids. You know, same kind of shit. You know, they get too energetic and get a soda in them or something. And so I walk in, and it's just everywhere, all over the living room. My house kind of is due for a leveling, so it like rolled from the middle of the house like all the way to the wall.
Oh,
It was
God.
terrible. Yeah, but
That's when you're like,
Thank
honey,
God you
come
guys
here, I
did
got
too.
something for you.
she did actually end up getting up and cleaning up like half of it for me. So that's how I had time to make coffee and then sit down.
Ah,
So
there you
yep,
go.
sipping on some Den Blend Dark, running low. I'm
Nice.
gonna have to place an order here soon.
Cool,
I'm waiting for my
cool.
paycheck to hit.
Good. It's been a slow week, man. Market I went to yesterday sucked. All I got was a sunburn.
Oh, that stinks. And you
Yeah.
are pale. Coming out of wintertime in Michigan too. I bet you everyone's
Yeah.
extra pale.
Oh, dude, I'm so burnt. My head is just completely fried.
It's funny. It rained all week, like this past week down here, but then all of a sudden, yesterday it was just full on sunshine, like no cloud in the sky, just freaking bearing down on you.
Well, maybe they'll start installing a sun blocking haze in your area next.
Well, it's happening, man. WEF came out with that the other day. They're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. I think they've
I
been
don't know where
doing it.
these people get the authority to do that shit, but
Well,
yeah.
Well, I think they've been doing it, and they're like, well, if we tell people about it, they're just going to freak out. So we just got to
Well,
do it.
with Klaus stepping down, the guy that's on there now is the head of Nestle.
Did somebody say that he's worse?
Oh, yeah,
that's what I was reading.
He says that people don't have a right to water. This is the same company that has gone in and been kicked out of several areas. It's kind of like another group we know. Been kicked out of several areas because they've been stealing water and then selling it.
Yeah, and it's like it sucks because like he is like, depending on how you phrase that, like nobody has like a right to water. It's like, well, like yeah, like nobody has like to like your water, right? But what they do, like Steve was saying, is it's very shady practices to obtain said water. You know, there is still a thing such as water rights and property and stuff like that. And you know, I think that the best way to solve environmental issues is to like, you know, privatize everything. So like, yes,
well, this is okay,
water,
but Dad,
you know, but like
this is where I'm going to push back on that. Like, you have a private business that is pushing this.
Sure, and I mean, of course, there's always going to be private businesses that push terrible things, but that's the point of like the market. But like, I would say that government, a lot of times, the reason that especially with environmental and resources, one of the reasons it's a very challenging area for this kind of stuff, is because there's a lot of different. Okay, well, water rights and this and that and things aren't privatized, or just, you know, you look at things that are run by the government, and then you have the tragedy of the commons, and that's where things really get like fucked up. So places, okay, let's say like areas up in like, let's say Maine, right, where they get lobsters and shit, right? Yeah. If they were to be irresponsibly harvested, they wouldn't really have a lobster industry. And in a lot of cases, the people who regulate that, it's not really a government entity. It's kind of a guild. It's kind of lobster fishermen. And it's kind of like a base, like if you fuck with these rules, you're going to come up missing kind of shit, you know? But like, it fucking works, you know? And they have lobsters and they run an industry. And then, you know, everything to like, we talked about the story here recently about the flamingos. It wasn't recently, but on the show before about the flamingos almost getting hunted to extinction, and now they're coming back and this and that. And, you know, it was because people like the pink feathers, like in their hats, you know? And so like one of the two solutions would either be like, A, privatize flamingos, like you own flamingos, and then you can kill them as you want. But then if you're selling the feathers, but you own them, you're not going to let them go extinct. You're going to breed them, whatever. If they're just in the wild, people are just going to shoot them and hunt them to extinction because nobody owns them. And if you don't kill them, somebody else is, And then the second fix to that would be whoever creates artificial flamingo feathers or a pink dye to dye, chicken feathers pink to look like fucking to look like flamingo feathers. Like that was one of the big things they did to like get rid of like the like a lot of the horn, like rhino horn trading, was they made somebody figure out how to make synthetic rhino horn, and then it like put like the real rhino horn out of business. And the other thing is people own the rhinos. You pay like $500,000 to go fucking hunt one, and then people are like, oh, that dentist killed a rhino, he's a bastard. It's like he paid like $500,000 to do it. The people getting paid $500,000, and I'm just pulling that number out of my ass. It's a lot of money, but I don't know how much it is. But the people getting paid this exorbitant amount of money to hunt rhinos aren't going to run out of rhinos because they want to keep making money, So it's kind of like the big thing to keep. As much as I would just love wildlife to just be able to run free and live and blah blah blah, unfortunately, as humanity evolves, we're going to get to keep enjoying those animals in a private kind of environment. So people who own a ranch or breed them or, charge people to see them or charge people to hunt them, is probably going to be what keeps them alive and keeps that genetic pool going.
In theory.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of private companies do a lot of terrible things, but I would argue that they are enabled by government to do so. Government who is supposed to protect our property rights and stuff like that does not step in and do so.
Yeah, so where water rights, mineral rights, that sort of stuff is concerned, it's definitely government on the fucking it up side where privatization is concerned, or at least where private companies taking control of that stuff is concerned.
Yeah, but of course, again, there could be chicanery all around. I'm not saying private businesses aren't infallible by any means, but a lot of times their incentives are to keep making money, so you tend to not run out of a resource. Whereas Tragedy of the Commons, when it's a government-controlled resource, you have a much harder time not running out of it. Tends to be the case. But yeah, anyhow, like I say, like, do you have a right to somebody else's water? No, but like you don't have, that doesn't mean that somebody else has the right to come steal your water and you don't have a right to water. Because then you could put it back in Nestle and say you don't have a fucking right to water either, motherfucker.
Well, remember, There Will Be Blood, where the guy is like trying to sell his land, and the other guy's like, I'll just take the straw and just put it angle and just pull your oil out that way.
He's like, I already took your oil, motherfucker.
Yeah. So like, and that's what's going on right now, like with the water stuff with Nestle, and they're doing it in Michigan too. That they're, but they're paying. They're paying off our state government because there has been no pushback. There's been no real pushback.
Yeah, exactly. They're legally allowed to do this, what should be an illegal thing, if we had real property rights. Yeah, they do the same kind of shit here in Florida. We've got our aquifer, that's like a precious thing to Florida. And I mean, since I've been alive, I've literally seen like the springs that used to be this beautiful blue are now like green. There's all sorts of like saltwater intrusion. Like there's a lot of fucked up shit from all the overdevelopment. And we have bottled water companies here too, that pull up a lot of water. But yeah, the overdevelopment thing is a big issue here. Not to sound like too much of an environmentalist, but they build these things and they, they're not required to like make sure there's going to be resources and stuff. And of course the government officials, they're paid off, or I've heard it explained before and I'm not going to be able to do it justice, but it's basically a big thing of like, it's the same thing as like modern monetary theory and like the grander scale. It's like, we need to approve these big subdivisions so we get these taxes because we need those taxes to expand the infrastructure for the last subdivision that we had built. It's almost like a Ponzi scheme kind of thing. So
government's a Ponzi scheme?
Yeah, no, go figure. So this urban sprawl is just perpetuated by basically government already getting themselves in over their head. And then they just need to do more of the same detrimental thing. I'm not saying there's be no development or anything like that, but I kind of think if you're going to build a neighborhood, you need to already have it responsibly figured out where the water is going to come from and where the waste is going to go and what's going to happen.
If you go back and look at it, like if you go around and look at it, like almost all the not major cities, but almost all cities are like underwater with like everything, like literally everything. They're all in massive, massive debt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like they have to keep doing that to get that, to pay off that debt, because the schools don't have budgets. They just spend whatever they want. I mean, they say they have a budget, but they don't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the schools around here are freaking gorgeous. Like, they're beautiful schools. They have football stadiums that are like actual stadiums, like really nice laid out thing. They're gorgeous, and they can only be used by the school. Like, they won't rent them out for other things. They won't. And like, there's a school here that they had just the one high school, and then they split it into 2 high schools so that they could have 2 sports teams. Well, I mean, all that, like, that just pulls revenue out of the city like crazy. I mean, they're not making any money. I mean, when they're charging like $5 to get in the game, they're not making money. Like,
I mean, depending on the size of the school, there's some schools where that would work. Like if it's like a 5A, 6A school, then yeah, $5 a pop, especially when it's not just students but parents and I mean grandparents, all that. Yeah, they probably are making money.
I mean, but when they have a project, when they're building a stadium that costs like, you know, $30-40 million, like, they're not going to recoup that off $5 tickets.
I mean, over 10 years maybe, but
yeah, maybe.
You guys want to see some news? You can call that. Look, so a robot ran a half marathon. It's got a lot of bodyguards. Oh God, there's another one.
A midget robot.
Yeah, look at it. Oh, it's a child robot. It's got the leash.
Oh, it's a midget.
Little legs.
Oh God, why does that one run like Joe Biden?
Yeah,
that robot shit his pants. Just now.
They even had to put mittens on it so it doesn't scratch open its old man's pores. That one's doing all right.
That one might outrun me.
That one's running like it's taking a dump on itself too.
That's a slow and steady wins the race kind of run. That's like, that wouldn't be my first sprint, but that'd be like me running after 5 minutes. Okay, hold it together, knees.
The little kid robot is kind of terrifying because all they got to do is put some skin on that thing, and now like Skynet has their way to kill us all.
Yeah, this little kid, like, its locomotion looks smooth, dude.
Yeah,
but it's funny because it's still short.
It moves like a little kid. Like, that's what's terrifying about it. Is like, that's the most realistic one of all of them.
This one, you just huck a decent sized stick at its legs and it's gonna fall over. You know, it's tall, it's lanky. You know, that one seems a little off balance. But this one, that one's stocky, dude. That one looks like it might might be a little harder to take down, even though it's small. I always said I'd rather fight a tall person than a short person in a lot of cases, because like short people, they're like, you know, they're right there at rib cage level, you know, like I don't know, man.
Taller than me, I can, you can possibly leg sweep or something, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, you can have somebody just giant all around, and that's not necessarily ideal. You know what I mean? Like Batista or some shit, you know. But if you get somebody who's like tall, maybe just a little lanky, especially, you know, I can probably deal with that, you know. And I can take hits to the face better than hits to the body. So I'd rather put him in that zone a little more, I guess. I get the wind knocked out of me easily for some reason.
You got a bad heart though, too, right?
Punch me in the stomach just right. I've been known to go down. Like, I can't breathe and black out. Yeah, but I don't know. My heart doesn't affect me too much. Maybe overall endurance. That's a possibility.
That's why Dag does sprints, not marathons.
Yeah. Exactly.
Only run when chased.
Yeah, usually. From playing frisbee or some other sort of hippie sport.
Somebody throws it too far, and you got to kind of like jog over to get it.
Wisconsin was the place that just had that. The FBI arrested somebody for disobeying something or other. Was that Wisconsin?
What happened?
You guys know what I'm talking about?
No clue.
Yeah, for disobeying some, I don't know, Trump order, judge's order. Yeah, something like that.
So the judge was hiding like there was an ICE raid, or they were trying to do an ICE
Oh
raid,
yeah,
and
that's
they were
right.
they were hiding an illegal immigrant in their house, apparently.
The judge was?
Yeah.
Yeah, arrest that bitch.
So I wonder this Wisconsin thing, if that's what she was upset about. Army suspends Wisconsin training base's first female commander after Trump portrait flipped to the wall. And she, no photo, but I guess you don't need a photo of a portrait turned around. It's always like funny to me, like when I watch like old, because in any like government or like military sort of adjacent institution, they have a portrait of the president on the wall. So like when I watch like old X-Files, like the head of the CIA has a portrait of Bill Clinton on the wall, and it's just Bill Clinton's goofy face, and it's just so because especially back then, like I know they didn't vote for Bill Clinton, they probably hated Bill Clinton, damn liberal, but like they have to put his portrait on the wall, which is always funny. And just Bill Clinton just doesn't look presidential ever. He looks like fucking Bill Clinton. Hey,
Yeah.
hey guys, you want to do some blow?
Hey, Monica. How's it going,
Yeah,
Monica?
hey, Monica, you want a cigar? Yeah, man.
Kids don't know. Kids do not know what that was like to go through that era. I mean, like, do you guys remember? Like, it was wall-to-wall news on Monica Lewinsky. It was like 24/7.
When they literally made a movie called Wag the Dog that was about the idea of the president starting a war to deflect from his own personal scandals, like we've jumped the shark here. Like there's reality and fiction of the lines have gotten blurred.
Yeah. You ever see that meme going around? It has Bill Clinton sitting at the desk, and it says, "Most people don't know there's two people in the shot." Like people like my kids will never understand that joke. They'll never get it.
And look, man, I said it back then, and I'll still say it to this day. The president should be allowed to get Hummers. Like, who cares? You're the fucking president, dude. You should have women lining up to give you Hummers.
Right. The guy that's got his finger on the nuclear button should have a woman underneath that desk 100% of the time he's sitting there.
It'll ease that finger back. Yeah.
Like, what was that? Was that Police
You know
Academy?
what?
In Police
Fuck
Academy, where they hired the chick in Police Academy to do that.
The police department and wherever a year and a half ago did.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
Same thing. People couldn't keep their fucking mouth shut and had to fucking ruin it. I bet you there was a lot less unnecessary police beatings in that town at that time. I bet you if we check the records, there's a lot less reports of police brutality. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
I think you might have a point. You might have a point.
Of that chick, it might have been a joke. It might have been grok. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I saw a post that showed she got a job working at a train museum.
That had to be a joke. That had to be a joke.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
Suck job is my favorite fucking way to say that too. It's just like the trashiest way. I fucking love it. On F is for Family, there's like the town hooker, and she just walks around, suck jobs. Who wants suck jobs?
Oh.
Oh fuck. Yeah, that's great. That's
hilarious.
Great. Yeah, man. Yeah, they definitely just should have kept that. Now, I guess the only plus that came out of that really is that we did all learn how much of like an actual rapist Bill Clinton is from all like the stuff that came to light during that time. But because I think
that was already the problem is that was already known. They just ignored it when they ignored that and the fact of the whole Whitewater scandal. They ignored the fact that the airport that was in that area that was run by his brother was bringing in cocaine.
Mm-hmm. Lima. Awesome documentary, by the way, the Lima Conspiracy, I think it's called. I brought it up on the show before, but last time I tried to, I could not find it on the internet. Was the clips of Roger Clinton just horking down coke and dropping the N-bomb. Really hilarious. The specific one I'm referring to, Steve, which you may be very very right about this. I wasn't very old back then, but was the Juanita Broderick story. I think that's that came to light because it was the kind of thing where like she wasn't trying to be public about it, but Ken Starr or whoever was trying to throw as much shit on Clinton as he could. So we like what do you call it? Not deposed, but indict, whatever, the thing where you have to come to court and talk.
Yeah.
What is that word? I've had to do that before. It's awful. It's like, oh, you're coming to court to be a witness. And I'm like, I don't want to be a witness.
Yeah.
Oh, too bad. If you don't come to court and be a witness, we're going to arrest you.
It's a.
And then I go to court to be a witness, and the judge determined that I was actually the criminal and I was lying, and covering up for the dude. It was a sham of a terrible trial that I didn't want to be at.
Yeah. What is that? Damn it! I can't think of the name of that. What that's called. But yeah, like the Juanita Broderick stuff was out during the election of Clinton. And the problem was that you had Clinton, you had Bush, and then you had
Ross Perot
in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a crap election, and Clinton was the most charismatic.
Perot also kind of played spoiler in a lot of ways to Bush, or played a spoiler for Bush to Bush, whatever. Perot gave Clinton the election. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but nobody wanted Bush just because of all the stuff we were already dealing with. I mean, like that was when we started bombing Iraq, and it was like oh, Iraq. You can go into Kuwait. There's no problem with
Bush
that.
Threw
and I was
up
like,
on the Japanese prime minister. That basically sealed that he was not going to get reelected.
My parents were the opposite. They voted for Perot, but otherwise they would have voted for Clinton. So he took votes from Clinton, from a lot of them too.
Well, it was funny because like that was the first time I was able to vote was that election, and I was just like, I was so worried.
Steve's really showing his age today.
Yeah, I was worried when that happened. Like I was like, oh God, we're all screwed because Clinton's getting in. And I was right, you know. I mean, you got Ruby Ridge, you got Waco, but it was
good. It was good
bombings
few years
of aspirin
for the
factories.
working man.
Yeah, I mean, it was great for the people that build the missiles and bombs, man, because they had a great time. Because like they'd be like, oh, you know, something's going on in the White House. Like, oh, hey, bomb this aspirin factory over here.
But would CIA director George H.W. Bush have been any different in his second term?
No, I mean there would have been less. There would have been less blowjobs and less. I mean, do you think Barbara really?
I say
did that?
like we've talked about it before. We've talked
I
about
think
it
Bush
before.
Senior
Like
was asexual. I don't think he cared about sex.
Yeah.
Every president since Dwight D. Eisenhower was rigged. It was set up. Like they were all hand selected to be the next guy, and like there were things that were going to
Kennedy,
happen.
but they handled that.
Yeah,
they
right, and that's what I've said. That's what I've
same-
said all along. Like, except for Kennedy, and they took care of that.
And the same for Trump's first one.
Yeah, Trump 2016 was not supposed to happen. Like, but every other one, you can look at it like we've talked about 2000. Like, Gore was winning, and then Bush was winning, and we had the whole hanging Chad thing, and then Bush just won, and really nobody said anything. Like, there was some, there was some stuff, but it wasn't like a big investigation or anything. It was just like, okay, well, we got the hanging Chad, so we'll fix that next time around. And yeah, Bush is going to be president now.
You think she was taking care of her husband? Hell no. That's old, man. That's some old ass. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is funny that the state that was the hang up was Florida, where his brother was the governor. Like, it's like you can't make it so obvious, like pick any other state. It can't be Florida. It can't be where his brother's the governor, man. Come on. And even if it was totally like legit and there's a thing and that's just coincidental, nobody's gonna believe you, bro. Nobody's gonna believe you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys remember. Here, I'm gonna pull up this real quick. Do you guys remember who Tim Russert was?
No.
Meet the press.
Yeah, he was.
Terrible.
He was on. He was terrible, but in an interview, and I gotta find. Hold on, let me find this real quick. In the interview, right before he died, he was asking questions about this thing that both Bush and who's the guy he ran against? Who did
Gore-
Bush run? No, not
Gore
Gore.
or Kerry. John Kerry.
Kerry. Yeah. So, damn it. Hold on. My stupid screen keeps going weird.
Fantastic production here.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, at least I'm
Crushing
trying.
it.
Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number
page.
322.
I don't-
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, a secret number? There are all kinds of secrets.
Yeah. So Tim Russer died right after that. Right. He was sent overseas and died right after that. Those interviews.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Sounds like when who was it that talked about Obama or about Michelle being a trans and then died
Oh,
that
it was
afternoon.
what's her name? Damn.
I know
can't
we
remember
played
her
the
name now.
we've played the clip many times, but
Yeah. Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers, that's right.
The thing I
kept
remember
wanting to say
most about
Barbara
Joan
Walters,
Rivers.
but I knew it wasn't Barbara Walters.
The thing I remember the most about Joan Rivers, I was skipping school one day when I was a kid, and she was interviewing Beastie Boys, and one of the Beastie Boys honked her boob on TV.
Nice.
That's the thing I remember about her the most was that happened to her. She was on The View up until that happened. Like she was going in to get Botox and mysteriously died. But yeah, it's funny when you call these people out what happens to you. I mean, how many people have suicided themselves after a Clinton article came out? You know, like 16 gunshots to the head and they suicided themselves.
Yeah,
Or
the guy
they're
that
found in a dumpster 5 years later, you know, and it was suicide.
the former Clinton lawyer that hung himself in his backyard from a tree, except that there was like no ladder or any way that he could have gotten into the tree, and also he had a shotgun wound in the middle of his chest. Like so this dude like climbed the tree with the rope, dropped himself, and then shot himself in the chest. Like what? Boggles the mind. I mean, I guess if you're really, really needing to kill yourself, there's no lengths you won't go to. But
Yeah,
all
right.
that, I can think of more efficient ways than literally climbing a tree, and like no ladder, nothing, and shoot yourself in the chest with a shotgun after you hang yourself. That's what.
Well, you want to be thorough. Like the guy, it's been coming up lately. Terrence something or other. I think it was a Oklahoma City bombing thing. I think that's why it's coming up lately. It's the anniversary of that. But yeah, it was like he shot himself twice, slit his own wrist, handcuffed himself, like they deemed it a suicide or some shit.
It's like, all right, I'm gonna need somebody to walk me through the order that he went through, that he did. Like, I know your forensics can figure out like how this happened. Like, what was the order? Did he handcuff himself before he slit his wrist, or after he slit his wrist, or how many times did he shoot himself before he handcuffed himself? Like, wait,
Seriously,
I need a play-by-play.
If the cops are in on it, why are they putting out the fact that he's handcuffed? Like, that's what I just don't. I'll never understand that kind of stuff. How that stuff gets out. Like,
No, Steve. People have their own handcuffs. There are folks that are into kinky shit. It doesn't mean the cops handcuffed him.
No, I didn't say that. No, that's not what I said. Justin,
He's just saying, why wouldn't they lie?
That's not what I said.
Yeah,
I'm saying that you're lying about, like, if you're already lying saying you committed suicide, why are you not omitting the fact that there's handcuffs in there? Like, because it makes no sense.
In my mind too.
Or why don't you admit the fact that you take out the fact that the guy shot himself in the chest with the shotgun? That's absolutely impossible to do unless you have like a really short shotgun. Like,
you can use your toe.
When you're hanging from a tree, how the fuck does that work?
I always wonder like the same thing, like if there's already that much control, right? But I think that what it is that it's a much smaller team than what like we imagine, so people may handle it, handle the deed itself, and then there's a good chance that the police that come and investigate are regular dudes So then, because then you don't have to get to all the police, but then maybe the ME, right? That's the person you got to deal with, you know, is the medical examiner, because that's who makes that determination ultimately, I think. So maybe it's what's already in a police report. They can't do nothing about that. And then that's more shit you got to tamper and cover up with, and more instances that there will be an indiscrepancy and it'll come up. But I always wonder the exact same
do their
shit,
job.
Though. Yeah.
Let the police do their job, release all the information, and then just have the medical examiner be like, nah, that was a suicide. And then everybody moves on.
That's the best I can come, because Steve, I wonder the exact same shit, man. Is if they're already doing this big cover-uppy thing, why isn't the whole thing just this nice, neat package? You know, and I think that part of it is they just don't have as much overall power as like they have a lot of ways to control, but that's what the CIA is good at. We go in and we do one or two little acts, assassinate the right person, step the fuck out, and then control the spin after the fact, you know, in whatever way possible. And I think that's been the traditional thing that's kind of worked, because ultimately people forget after a few days. Everyone just forgets and moves on. It's always been the internet has sort of hung them up a bit, but even with the internet, it's still the same shit. You know, we forget and move on.
Right.
Every now and then
Everybody
we'll
forgets.
share a meme about Jeff Epstein didn't kill himself.
Nobody wants the Nashville school shooter manifesto anymore. Like, everybody forgets about everything. Give it 4 months and everybody moves on.
Well, I think like a lot of that stuff happens is like a report will go out before that they get their control team out there. Like little snippets go out.
Yeah, that's very possible too.
But you know how like however it's interesting, like with the school shooters thing you were just talking about. I'm sorry, I had to stop for a second because my son came down. But when the school shooter stuff, like whenever stuff like that happens, you'll hear like, oh, there's 6 people, there's 2 people, there's 1 person, there's a guy with machine guns, there's a guy with like grenades, and I think a lot of the stuff comes out, and I think part of that is to throw you off the scent of what the truth actually is, because stuff does get out. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's obfuscation. A bunch of stories, and then that buys you time to pick what narrative you want to go with, because then you're not deviating from whatever the narrative was if there's 10 conflicting narratives in the first place. You know, so I think that is a tactic, because they put a lot of bullshit out there on purpose. Just confuse people, but then I think that buys you a lot of time to refine your story as well. Yep, they're a crafty bunch.
Yeah, but I tend to agree that I don't think there's as many as we think there are. It's a small
yeah, and
team.
even if they, you know, are
logistically speaking, there can't be as many as what the average conspiracy theorist thinks there are, because think about how many people you would have to keep quiet and pay off and all of this stuff. It's a lot easier to just have a very small number of people that take care of all of this shit, very tight controlled group, and then just let the rest of it be spin and wild nonsense that you don't even have to disprove. You can just say, oh, that's just some crazy conspiracy theorist, because at the end of the day, those of us who are noticing have also noticed all the other crazy conspiracy things. And so most of society just thinks we're insane anyway. So
yeah,
they don't even have to go to great lengths to disprove anything that we say. They don't have to disprove a single thing that we say. Everything that we say can be 100% factually, provably right, but they don't even have to disprove us, because they can just say, oh, well, you know, this is some conspiracy theory. Who's going to believe that, you know, the CIA actually organized this? Like that's,
and 10 years later, the fun thing is that 10 years later, when it's proven that it's true and it comes out that it's true, you know, then everybody else has forgot about it, and we're like, hey, no, we said this 10 years ago. It's like,
remember?
Yeah. How are you gonna believe 4 retards on the internet?
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.